In 1615, deep within an isolated mountain sanctuary in feudal Japan, an ancient master posed a question to his disciple that would shatter everything the young warrior believed. Takeshi, imagine yourself surrounded by 10 adversaries, each wielding a blade. How many will fall by your sword? The ambitious student replied without hesitation. Every single one, master. The weathered teacher slowly shook his head. Incorrect. You will defeat none of them. The instant your mind calculates 10 opponents, the first one has already claimed your life. This represents the ultimate riddle every warrior of old Japan had to unravel. Genuine triumph emerges not from movement but from total awareness, not from practiced forms but from mental clarity, not from the blade gripped in your palm, but from the profound stillness within your spirit. The warriors who grasped this truth became immortalized in legend. Those who failed became forgotten corpses on blood-soaked fields. And here is the truth they never share with you. This ancient principle has nothing to do with warfare. It is about how you exist. At this very moment, you are engaged in 10 simultaneous struggles. Your career, your connections, your physical body, your deeper meaning. And you are failing every single one for the identical reason. Those ancient warriors perished on battlegrounds 4 centuries ago. Your awareness exists everywhere except this present instant. You are consumed by thoughts of 10 threats instead of confronting the single one before your eyes. The real question becomes, are you prepared to discover what these legendary warriors understood? Chapter 1, The Moment of Reckoning. Takeshi faces his inadequacy. The year is 1615. Feudal Japan stands under new rule. The Tokugawa shogunate has finally unified the nation after endless generations of bloody civil conflict. Yet, in the remote mountains of Haida province, a single training hall still forges warriors according to the ancient path. Takeshi had seen only 17 summers when humiliation discovered him. He had devoted half a decade to training within these sacred walls. 5 unbroken years of blade work, silent contemplation, absorbing the wisdom of ancient texts. His kata unfolded with absolute precision. His movements flowed fast, accurate, technically beyond reproach. Yet he possessed a fatal weakness that no measure of repetition could remedy: terror. During practice combat sessions with wooden training weapons, Takeshi's thoughts would spiral into chaos. What happens if I receive a strike? What happens if defeat finds me? What happens if my teacher witnesses my fundamental weakness? His physical form would lock with tension. His breathing would become rapid and shallow. His flawless technique would dissolve into clumsy desperation. The fellow students took notice, hushed conversations echoing through the training hall. Takeshi possesses impressive form, yet his warrior spirit remains absent. His mind never ceases its chatter. He will never succeed in the final challenge. The challenge, the ultimate examination that separated devoted students from true samurai. An actual duel with genuine steel against a master instructor. Not fought to the death, but to that crystalline moment where death becomes unavoidable. Most devoted students faced this trial at 18 years. Takeshi had already reached 17 and a half, yet his instructor Yamamoto-sensei had not spoken a single word about his readiness. One quiet evening following the day's rigorous training, Takeshi approached his teacher. The elderly master sat in seiza, the formal kneeling posture, positioned before the dojo's sacred shrine, eyes gently closed in deep meditation. Takeshi knelt in respectful silence and waited. 5 long minutes passed, then 10, then 15 stretched moments. Finally, Yamamoto-sensei's eyes opened with calm awareness. Master, Takeshi spoke, his voice carrying a slight tremor. When shall I be prepared for the final examination? The master's gaze studied him with penetrating depth. Those ancient eyes had witnessed countless battles, trained thousands of eager students. They perceived everything hidden beneath the surface. Your technical skills are sufficient at this moment, Yamamoto-sensei stated plainly, but technical sufficiency means absolutely nothing. I fail to comprehend, master. Rise to your feet, draw your training sword. Takeshi stood, his fingers wrapping around the familiar wooden bokken. Now, strike me down. Takeshi raised his weapon overhead, yet his hands began to shake uncontrollably. His master sat defenseless, kneeling in perfect stillness. This represented the ideal opening, a perfect opportunity, yet something deep within stopped his movement. "I cannot do this, master." "Explain why you cannot." "Because you are my honored teacher. Such an action would be profoundly disrespectful." Yamamoto-sensei's expression hardened like iron. "Respect, no. You deceive yourself with comfortable lies. The actual truth is terror controls you. Terror of what follows your strike. Terror of how I might respond. Terror of absolute failure. Your consciousness exists in 10 different places simultaneously, yet never in the only one that holds meaning, here now, this singular breath." These words struck Takeshi with the force of physical blows delivered to his chest. Until you master the art of being present, you will never become samurai. You will become a lifeless body with impressive technical knowledge. Go now, meditate deeply on this truth. That night brought no sleep for Takeshi. He sat motionless in his modest room, staring at pale moonlight filtering through the paper window. 5 entire years sacrificed to becoming a true samurai. 5 years of unending sacrifice, burning pain, iron discipline, and failure approached not because his body lacked strength, but because his mind lacked presence. He recalled his master's cutting words with perfect clarity. "Your mind exists in 10 places." The truth hit him fully. During every sparring match, every practice session, Takeshi's thoughts raced toward outcomes, toward appearing skilled before others, toward avoiding shameful failure, toward everything except the actual present moment of combat itself. As the first light of dawn broke across the mountains, Takeshi arrived at a firm decision. He would discover the answer to this riddle, whatever sacrifice it demanded. Chapter 2. The Foundational Principle. Shoshin, the mind of a beginner. The following morning arrived, and Yamamoto-sensei made an unexpected announcement. "Today, we abandon all sword practice. Today, our focus turns to cleaning." The students internally groaned with disappointment, yet their faces revealed nothing. This was discipline, the foundation of all warrior training. Throughout the entire day, they swept every corner of the dojo, scrubbed the worn wooden floors, cleaned each weapon with care, organized the sacred shrine with reverence. Manual labor, seemingly mindless repetitive work, or so Takeshi initially believed. He swept the same familiar wooden floor he had swept countless hundreds of times before in his training. His mind began to wander freely. "This activity serves no purpose. I should be refining my technique. The examination approaches rapidly. I need to improve my sword work, not waste precious time on meaningless cleaning." Then something caught his attention, something profound. The master was also sweeping, yet his movements carried a completely different quality. Each stroke of his broom moved with deliberate intention, focused awareness, absolute completion. When he swept toward the left, he existed fully in sweeping left. When he swept toward the right, he existed fully in sweeping right. There existed a particular quality to his physical movement, a presence that transformed the ordinary mundane task into something almost sacred, almost holy. Takeshi watched, completely transfixed by this revelation. After the cleaning session ended, the master gestured for him to approach. "What wisdom did you gain today, Takeshi?" Takeshi hesitated, uncertain. "That our dojo must remain clean and orderly." Yamamoto-sensei smiled gently. "Incorrect. Walk with me now." They traveled together to a small meditation hall positioned behind the main training dojo. Inside hung a single scroll on the bare wall. 2 elegant characters, written in flowing calligraphy. "Shoshin," Yamamoto-sensei spoke clearly. "The mind of a beginner. Do you understand what this truly means? To approach all activities as if experiencing them for the first time. Deeper still, when a complete beginner lifts a sword for the very first time, what fills his consciousness?" Takeshi considered carefully. Curiosity, pure focus on learning the basic movements. Correct. And what else occupies his awareness? Nothing else exists. Only the sword itself. Only that singular moment. Exactly right. The beginner's mind remains empty of all expectation, empty of all fear, empty of everywhere except precisely here. The true beginner does not think about becoming the world's greatest swordsman. He thinks only about this particular grip, this specific stance, this individual swing, nothing more. The master lowered himself into Caesar. Takeshi followed his example. Now tell me truthfully, Takeshi, when you sweep the floor, where does your mind actually reside? Takeshi felt shame rising hot in his chest. Everywhere else entirely, thinking about training, obsessing about the examination, worrying about the uncertain future. And when you engage in combat with Bokken, the exact same pattern emerges, thinking about final outcomes, about appearing impressive before others, about avoiding humiliating failure. Therefore, you never actually exist present for anything at all. You sweep while your thoughts chase swords. You practice swords while your thoughts chase examinations. You perpetually exist one step removed from reality itself. This is precisely why you continue to fail. The master's words arrived gently yet devastated completely. The samurai's most powerful weapon is not the katana blade. It is presence itself. Zanshin, the state of remaining awareness. Fudoshin, the immovable unchanging mind. Hagakure, the ordinary everyday mind. All of these ancient concepts point toward the identical truth. Exist here now completely. He gestured toward the hanging scroll with reverence. Shoshin is the foundational base. Empty your mind of 10,000 racing thoughts. Face only what stands directly in front of you in this moment. Takeshi stared at the elegant characters with new understanding. Shoshin, beginner's mind. Master, how do I cultivate this in practice? Yamamoto-sensei rose to his feet. Beginning tomorrow at dawn, you will train in a completely different manner. Every single task you perform, eating your meals, walking the paths, sweeping the floors, practicing your sword forms, you will execute with total complete attention. When you eat, you simply eat. When you walk, you simply walk. When you swing your blade, only the sword exists. Nothing else has any reality. For what duration must I practice this way? Until genuine understanding arrives. Perhaps 1 month, perhaps 1 full year, perhaps never at all. The answer depends entirely on you. That night, Takeshi began his new practice. He sat for meditation. Yet instead of trying to achieve any particular state, he simply sat, breathing, present. Thoughts arose naturally. Am I performing this correctly? Is this practice working? What happens if I fail the examination? Each time, he acknowledged the thought as just a thought, then returned his full awareness to his breath. Here, now, this moment only exists. It proved the hardest thing he had ever attempted in his entire life. If you are beginning to understand how presence could completely transform your life, the way it transformed Takeshi's entire existence, join our Presence and Purpose community. Subscribe and walk this ancient path with us as we explore the warrior wisdom from old Japan that builds modern mastery. Chapter 3, The Trial Begins. 30 days immersed in presence. The first 7 days brought absolute torture. Takeshi's mind rebelled violently against presence. Every single activity felt agonizingly slow, painfully drawn out. Eating breakfast became an eternity stretching forever. Walking to the training hall felt like wading through thick mud. His mind screamed in constant protest. This is completely pointless. You are wasting precious time. Everyone else continues getting better, while you just sit here being present. Yet he continued forward because the master had provided him a path, and Takeshi would follow it to the absolute end. Week 2 brought an unexpected shift in his experience. During morning meditation, Takeshi experienced something strange and unfamiliar. For just a few precious seconds, the constant mental chatter simply stopped. Not because he forced it to cease, it just stopped naturally. In that gap of profound silence, he heard the wind moving through the trees outside, the creaking of the wooden building settling, his own heartbeat pulsing steadily. It felt like waking up from a lifelong dream, as if he had been asleep his entire existence, and suddenly opened his eyes for the first time ever. The moment passed quickly. The mental chatter returned to fill the space. But now, Takeshi knew with certainty that silence was genuinely possible. Presence was real, not just a concept. He intensified his practice with renewed dedication. When sweeping, he became the sweeping itself. The movement of the broom, the sound of bristles on wood, the sensation in his arms, that became his entire universe. When eating, he tasted every single grain of rice, chewed slowly with full awareness, experienced the simple act of nourishment completely. When walking, each step was complete unto itself, heel to toe, weight shifting smoothly, balance adjusting continuously. The other students believed he had lost his mind completely. Takeshi walks like an ancient old man now. He eats like a temple monk. Has he surrendered on becoming samurai? Yet the master watched everything, said nothing, waited patiently. Week 3 brought the genuine test, a sparring session. Takeshi faced another student, a talented fighter named Kenji, who had already passed his final examination successfully. They both gripped their wooden bokken firmly. Old Takeshi would have been thinking, Kenji surpasses me in skill. What happens if I lose before everyone watching? I need to impress the master with my abilities. New Takeshi simply stood present, fully aware, completely grounded. Kenji attacked suddenly. A fast overhead strike delivered with full commitment, and something miraculous occurred. Takeshi's body moved without thought intervening. He sidestepped smoothly, deflected efficiently, and countered naturally, all in one fluid motion. No thought, no hesitation, pure response emerging from presence. Kenji stumbled backward, shock visible on his face. They reset their positions, fought again with renewed intensity. This time, Takeshi was not fighting Kenji at all. He was simply present with each unfolding moment. When Kenji moved, Takeshi responded, not from memorized techniques stored in his mind, but from immediate awareness of what was actually happening. It was as if the fight was moving through him, not being created by him. The match concluded. Kenji bowed deeply with genuine respect. That was completely different from before. You have changed fundamentally. Takeshi bowed back, saying nothing at all. Yet inside, understanding was dawning like sunrise. Presence was not just a meditation practice for sitting quietly. It was the source of all warrior power. When you exist fully present, you do not react from fear or overthinking. You respond from awareness itself. And awareness always moves faster, always chooses more appropriately, always expresses more power than thinking ever could. That evening, the master summoned him. Tomorrow, Yamamoto-sensei stated with finality, you will face your final examination. Takeshi felt fear rising in his chest. Then he simply let it pass through without resistance. Here now, only this moment exists. Yes, master, I am ready now. For the first time in 5 long years of training, the words rang completely true. Chapter 4. The Psychology of Warriors. The Science Behind Presence. Before we continue following Takeshi's journey, let us understand what was actually occurring in his physical brain. Modern neuroscience has uncovered something the samurai understood 400 years ago without any scientific equipment. Presence is a trainable skill that physically changes your actual brain structure over time. When Takeshi practiced being present moment to moment, he was deactivating his default mode network, known as the DMN. This is the brain network responsible for mind-wandering, self-referential thinking, and anxiety about past events and future possibilities. Every single time he brought his attention back to the present moment, he was strengthening his prefrontal cortex, the brain region controlling attention, emotional regulation, and executive function. This is not mysticism or magic. This is measurable physical brain change. Studies on dedicated meditation practitioners show increased gray matter density in areas controlling attention and significantly decreased activity in areas controlling fear response and anxiety. The samurai did not possess MRI machines or brain scanners, but they understood the principle with perfect clarity. Miyamoto Musashi, the greatest swordsman in Japanese history, wrote in his famous book of 5 rings. In strategy, it is important to see distant things as if they were close, and to take a distanced view of close things. This is presence, the ability to be here while maintaining clear perspective, the ability to face immediate danger without losing inner composure. Takuan Soho, the Zen master who advised many legendary samurai, explained it this way: the mind must always be in the state of flowing, for when it stops anywhere, that means the flow is interrupted. And it is this interruption that is injurious to the well-being of the mind. Modern psychology calls this flow state. The samurai called it mushin, no mind, but there exists a deeper layer beneath. When Takeshi fought Kenji while fully present, his amygdala, the brain's fear center, had significantly less control over his responses. His body accessed trained movements without the interference of conscious thought. This is what the samurai meant by no mind. It does not mean having no thoughts whatsoever. It means thoughts no longer control you. The Hagakure, a practical guide to samurai behavior and ethics, states clearly: meditation on inevitable death should be performed daily. Every day when one's body and mind are at peace, one should meditate upon being ripped apart by arrows, rifles, spears, and swords. This sounds morbid to modern ears, but it represents brilliant psychology. By fully accepting death, the ultimate fear humans face, the samurai freed themselves from fear's paralyzing grip. They understood a fundamental truth: you cannot control outcomes. You can only control presence. When you exist fully present, fear does not disappear completely, but it no longer controls your actions. You feel it, acknowledge it exists, and act anyway with clarity. This is Fudoshin, the immovable mind. Not unmoved by emotion, unmoved by the need to react to emotion. Takeshi had discovered this profound truth, not through reading about it in books, but through living it moment by moment. Through 30 days of choosing presence over distraction, awareness over thought, being over becoming. Now he would face the ultimate test of his training. If this journey into feudal Japan is resonating deeply with you, if you are ready to learn the samurai practices that create unshakable presence in modern life, subscribe to this channel. We are building a community of warriors who choose awareness over distraction, presence over performance. Chapter 5, the first transformation arrives, the final examination at dawn. The dojo courtyard stood empty and silent. Takeshi stood in traditional hakama and gi, wooden sword gripped in both hands. Across from him stood Yamamoto-sensei, holding a real katana blade. Yes, a real sword with sharpened steel edge. This was the ancient tradition. The student uses wood. The master uses steel. The difference in weapons equals the difference in accumulated skill. If the master chose, one single strike would end Takeshi's life instantly. Around the courtyard perimeter, other students and masters from neighboring dojos watched in respectful silence. This was formal and official. There would be witnesses to either Takeshi's success or his complete failure. Yamamoto-sensei spoke, his voice carrying clearly across the silent courtyard. Takeshi has trained here for 5 years. Today, he faces the examination. Not to defeat me, that is impossible, but to demonstrate warrior spirit, to show presence under extreme pressure, to prove he is samurai. The old master settled smoothly into kami fighting stance. The katana blade gleamed in the early morning sun. Takeshi's heart pounded hard in his chest. His hands wanted to shake uncontrollably. Old Takeshi would have been drowning in thoughts right now. What happens if I fail? What happens if I embarrass myself before everyone? What happens if I die today? What if, what if, what if? But new Takeshi took a deep breath, felt his feet firmly on the ground, heard the wind rustling through the bamboo, saw his master's perfect stance. Here, now, only this exists. The master moved suddenly. Not a full committed attack, a testing strike. Fast, controlled, aimed directly at Takeshi's shoulder. Takeshi's body responded instantly. No thought, no plan, just presence. He sidestepped smoothly. The katana whispered past his ear like a ghost. He countered with his bakken, not trying to score a hit, just responding naturally to the opening created. The master deflected effortlessly. Both reset their stances. They circled each other slowly. Another attack arrived, faster this time, a combination technique. High strike, low sweep. Takeshi flowed like water. Body moving before mind could interfere with analysis. Block, dodge, counter. The katana never touched him anywhere. Around the courtyard, quiet murmurs arose. This was highly unusual. Most students spent the entire examination defending desperately, barely surviving. Takeshi was responding, adapting, present. The master increased intensity significantly. Real speed now, the kind of speed that kills in actual combat situations. And here is what happened next. Takeshi stopped trying to win, stopped trying to impress anyone, stopped trying at all. He simply was, present with each moment, each movement, each breath. The fight became a dance of awareness. The master would strike. Takeshi would respond, not from memorized technique, but from immediate awareness. Zanshin, remaining awareness. Even after blocking, Takeshi stayed alert. Even after countering, he remained ready for the next moment. 3 minutes passed. In combat, an eternity of focus. Then the master did something completely unexpected. He created an obvious opening, a clear, unmistakable gap in his defense. Most students would attack immediately, desperate to score a point and prove themselves. Takeshi saw it clearly, recognized it instantly, did not take it. Because presence revealed the truth. It was a trap, an invitation to overcommit and lose balance. He waited with perfect stillness. The master saw this. Understanding passed between them silently. Then Yamamoto-sensei lowered his katana blade, stepped back, bowed deeply from the waist. "Enough, you have passed completely." Silence filled the courtyard. Then applause erupted from the watching masters. Takeshi bowed, trembling now that the test had concluded, not from fear, from the release of sustained intensity. Later, in private conversation, the master explained fully. "Takeshi, 5 years ago, you arrived here wanting to become the best swordsman in all Japan. Today, you became something far better. You became present. The sword is merely a tool. Presence is the true weapon. When you did not take that obvious opening, you showed wisdom beyond technique. The young warrior tries to win every exchange. The true warrior knows some victories are defeats in disguise." Takeshi listened carefully, but something was stirring inside him, a deeper question. "Master, I have passed the examination. I am officially samurai now, but I feel as if this is just the beginning, not the end." Yamamoto-sensei smiled warmly. "Yes, this is the first transformation, from student to samurai. But there exists a second transformation, from samurai to master. And for that, you must leave this dojo entirely." Takeshi's eyes widened with surprise. "Leave? Yes. I am sending you to the temple on Mount Koya. There you will train with the monks for 1 full year, not in swordsmanship, in pure presence, in Zen meditation. Because the next level of mastery is not about fighting better. It is about transcending the need to fight at all." Takeshi thought he had learned presence. But in the mountains with the Zen monks, he would discover that what he had learned was just the shadow of true awareness. The real training was about to begin. Chapter 6. Deep Training Arc. 1 year on Mount Koya. Mount Koya, sacred mountain, home to one of Japan's oldest Zen monasteries. Takeshi arrived with his swords, his warrior's pride, his samurai title earned through dedication. The head monk, Master Ikkyu, looked at him with eyes that had witnessed 60 years of meditation practice. "Leave your swords at the gate. You will not need them here. But master, I am samurai. Here you are beginner. Here you learn to sit," and so began the hardest year of Takeshi's entire life. No sword practice whatsoever, no combat training, nothing he associated with being warrior. Instead, sitting meditation. Hours upon endless hours of zazen. Sitting, just sitting, watching the mind, being present. The first month was psychological warfare against himself. Takeshi's mind screamed in constant protest. "This is completely pointless. You are a trained samurai. You should be perfecting your technique, not sitting like a lifeless statue." His legs cramped painfully, his back ached continuously. His mind raced with thoughts, plans, memories, anxieties, endless mental noise. Master Ikkyu would walk between the meditating students carrying a wooden stick called keisaku. When he saw someone's mind had wandered, visible through posture, breathing, subtle movements, he would strike their shoulder sharply. Not hard enough to injure, just enough to snap attention back to presence. Takeshi got struck frequently, but he persisted stubbornly because somewhere deep inside, he understood clearly. The master at the dojo had sent him here for a profound reason. Month 2 brought an unexpected breakthrough. During one meditation session, Takeshi's mind was particularly chaotic and wild. Thoughts everywhere, anxiety about wasting time, frustration with lack of visible progress. Then Master Ikkyu rang a bell with clear tone. Time for walking meditation. The students stood slowly, began walking in a slow circle around the meditation hall. 1 step per breath, heel to toe, complete awareness. And in that moment, something clicked into place. Takeshi realized suddenly, presence is not about stopping thoughts. It is about not being controlled by them. Thoughts would always come naturally. The question was, do you chase them down rabbit holes, or do you let them pass like clouds across the sky? He began watching his thoughts without engaging them. Oh, there is anxiety about my training. Interesting. It is just a thought, not reality itself. And he would return his attention to his breath, to the sensation of walking, to here now. The thoughts did not stop arriving, but they lost their power over him. Month 3 through 6 brought deepening understanding. The monastery routine became his entire world. Wake at 4 in the morning, meditation. Simple breakfast eaten in complete silence. Work, meditation. Chopping wood for fires, hauling water from the well, tending gardens with care. More meditation, study of sutras, evening meditation, sleep. Every single activity was practiced in presence. When chopping wood, be completely with the axe, the wood, the movement. When eating, taste every grain of rice. When reading sutras, absorb each character fully. Takeshi discovered layers of presence he had never imagined existed. There was surface presence, paying attention to the task at hand. Then deeper presence, feeling the space between thoughts. Then even deeper still, recognizing the awareness that is always there beneath all thoughts and feelings. The Zen masters called this original mind or Buddha nature, the unchanging awareness that witnesses everything but is never disturbed by anything. Month 7 brought the second test unexpectedly. Master Ikkyu summoned Takeshi to his private quarters. You have been here 6 months now. You have learned to sit, to be present in stillness. Now you must learn presence in chaos. He handed Takeshi a sealed letter. There is a village 3 days' walk from here. Bandits have been terrorizing them for months. The village headman has requested help. You will go alone. Handle this situation however you see fit, then return. Takeshi felt old patterns activate instantly. The samurai mind asserting itself. Finally, a chance to use my skills. I will show them what a trained warrior can do. But underneath that rose new awareness, the ego wanting to prove itself. Interesting. He bowed deeply. Yes, master. As he prepared to leave the monastery, Master Ikkyu added one final instruction. Remember, Takeshi, the goal is not to defeat bandits. The goal is to maintain presence. Whatever happens, stay here now. That is your real test. Takeshi walked for 3 days through mountain paths, each step a meditation, each breath a return to presence. He arrived at the village as sunset painted the sky. Chapter 7. The final confrontation arrives. The bandit leader. The village was small, perhaps 30 families at most. They lived in constant fear. The headman explained their situation with trembling voice. A group of Ronin, masterless samurai, have been taking our food, our money. We are farmers, not warriors. We cannot fight them. How many are there? Takeshi asked calmly. 5 in total. Led by a man named Katsuro. He was once a respected samurai, but after his lord was killed in battle, he turned to banditry for survival. That night, Takeshi sat in meditation under the stars. Tomorrow, he would face the bandits, 5 trained warriors against one. Old Takeshi would be terrified, planning complex strategy, worrying about death. New Takeshi sat with whatever arose in his awareness. Fear came naturally. He acknowledged it without resistance. Yes, fear is present, that is natural, but he did not let it control his actions. He remembered his training clearly, presence, here, now, the outcome does not matter. Only this moment matters, Dawn broke over the mountains. The bandits arrived as expected. 5 men, rough and dangerous looking, led by Katsuro, a tall man with scars marking his face and hard eyes that had seen too much death. Takeshi walked out to meet them, completely unarmed. The bandits laughed with cruel amusement. The village hired a bodyguard, 1 young samurai. "Boy, go home before you get hurt badly." Takeshi stood in perfect presence, grounded, aware, still as a mountain. Katsuro stopped laughing abruptly. Something in Takeshi's stillness made him uneasy. "You are different from the usual village defenders we encounter. Who trained you? Yamamoto-sensei and Master Ikkyu." Katsuro's eyes widened slightly. He recognized those names immediately. Masters of masters. "So, you think you can stop us through force?" Takeshi smiled gently. "I am not here to stop you. I am here to speak with you." As one samurai to another, this confused the bandits completely. Where was the challenge, the bravado, the threat of violence? Takeshi continued, voice calm and present. "Katsuro-san, you were once a respected warrior. You served with honor and loyalty. What happened to bring you to this path?" For a moment, something flickered in the bandit leader's eyes. Pain, loss, regret. "My lord was killed in battle. My honor died with him on that field. This," he gestured to the village, "this is all that remains for me." "No," Takeshi said clearly, "your honor is not gone. It is just sleeping beneath pain, beneath the anger, beneath the bitterness. It is still there waiting." The other bandits shifted uncomfortably. This was not how these confrontations usually went. Takeshi stepped closer, completely undefended, completely present. "I know the Bushido code requires you to serve a lord, but what if there exists a higher lord than any daimyo? What if you could serve something that can never be killed in battle, never be taken away by circumstances? And what is that?" Katsuro asked, hand resting on his sword hilt, but not drawing. "Presence, awareness. The part of you that remains when everything else is stripped away. Master Ikkyu taught me clearly. You can lose your lord, your lands, your life, but you cannot lose your true nature." Silence hung heavy in the morning air. Katsuro stared at the strange young samurai who faced 5 armed men with nothing but words and presence. "You are either very brave or very foolish, perhaps both simultaneously." Takeshi smiled warmly. "But I am also very present, and in this moment, I am offering you a genuine choice. Continue this path of fear and violence, or remember who you truly are beneath the pain." One of the other bandits sneered with contempt. "Katsuro, why are we listening to this nonsense? Let me cut him down right now." He drew his sword, rushed forward with killing intent, and Takeshi did not move even slightly. Completely still, completely present, no fear, no aggression, just pure awareness. The bandit's sword stopped an inch from Takeshi's exposed throat. He could not complete the strike. Something in Takeshi's presence, the absolute absence of fear or resistance, made violence impossible. The bandit stumbled backward, deeply confused. Katsuro watched all of this unfold. Then he did something unexpected. He knelt on the ground, bowed his head low. "Forgive me, I forgot what it truly means to be samurai." The other bandits looked at their leader in complete shock. Katsuro stood slowly. "We are leaving this village and we will not return." He looked directly at Takeshi. "Where is this Master Ikkyu you speak of?" "Mount Koya Temple. Perhaps I will visit him if he will accept a broken man like me." Takeshi bowed respectfully. "There are no broken men, only men who have forgotten their wholeness." The bandits left peacefully. The village was safe, not through violence, through presence. Takeshi returned to Mount Koya. Master Ikkyu was waiting at the gate. "Tell me what happened." Takeshi recounted the entire story. The master listened carefully, nodding. "And what did you learn from this?" Takeshi paused. Then understanding flooded through him like water. "I learned that presence is the ultimate weapon, not because it defeats enemies, but because it transforms them completely. When you are fully present, completely grounded in awareness, you become a mirror, and people see themselves reflected back. Katsuro saw his true nature in my stillness. The bandit who attacked me saw the futility of violence in my lack of resistance. Presence does not fight. It does not need to fight. It simply is, and that isness is more powerful than any sword ever forged." Master Ikkyu smiled deeply. "Yes, this is the secret the greatest warriors eventually discover. The ultimate victory is not defeating others. It is transcending the need for conflict altogether. Miyamoto Musashi won 60 duels. But at the end of his life, what did he write? Step by step, walk the 1,000-mile road. He was not talking about defeating 1,000 enemies. He was talking about presence in each step. The beginner samurai thinks, how can I win this fight? The advanced samurai thinks, how can I be present in this fight? The master samurai realizes, when you are truly present, there is no fight at all. This is the final teaching. Shoshin, beginner's mind, is not just about learning new skills. It is about seeing every moment fresh, new, complete in itself. Zanshin, remaining awareness, is not just about staying alert after combat. It is about understanding that life is combat, and you must remain aware always. Fudoshin, immovable mind, is not about being cold or unfeeling. It is about being so rooted in presence that nothing external can shake your internal peace. You have learned these principles through your sword, but now you understand they apply to everything. Every conversation, every meal, every breath. This is what it means to be truly samurai, not a warrior who kills, but a warrior who brings life through presence. Takeshi bowed deeply with genuine gratitude. Thank you, Master, for everything. Your training here is complete.